I'm Craig, I play the drums.
I'm Stevie, the bass player.
I'm Craig, I'm the lead singer, and we're the Doledrums.
Just a one man in the crowd, just a slave to the bell, holding out, telling all day. Got a mischief in my mind and I'm cunning in my ways. Always finding my way out.
Laz album, and it's a song called Down to Doledrum. And we took the name.
Doledrum?
Doledrum, aye.
We took the Doledrums for that song, yeah. Yeah, we're all folk based. We're all friends, and some people are in different bands, and we joined together to make this band. Yeah, it's a lot of us sort of 60s style music. Bands like The Doors, The Coral, other bands like Led Zeppelin and things like that. Gigging probably roughly about one gig every week. We've played down in England, London, Manchester, mostly in Glasgow and Edinburgh. We've got a demo on our MySpace at the moment, but we're currently recording a single, hoping to release that in August. Hopefully do a wee bit of touring with that and see how it goes from there. Called One More Day. Yeah, we're totally looking forward to the gig. It should be a good night.
Right, I'm Suey with the Encierro. Probably are when we played the Cavern Club in Liverpool. We headlined down there. We took a squad down. We did a big show with Northside, an early 90s band. They were the last band signed up to Factory Records actually. And then we played with the Boytones as well, and outsold them by quite an amount of tickets.
Nearly 250 tickets that we sold to that.
And they sold about 20. And it's one of my favourite bands, so it was quite like...
I think it's a thing that like signed bands don't do enough of. You know, getting like localish bands from wherever they're playing around the country to come and play with them. Mm-hmm. It's a great way for them to sell tickets, and it's a brilliant experience for the band as well.
There was basically 3 or 4 bands in Stirling music scene, which is a bit of a shame because there's loads of really good bands in Stirling, loads of good musicians, but a lot of them don't stick it out, and the most prominent bands at the moment are probably the Shermans and the Leeds.
I think the thing with Stirling music scene is it's a kind of tendency, because it's a small place, for it to become quite clique orientated. There's a tendency for the gigs to become the same, and you end up playing the same places and stuff.
Because in Stirling you could be like a big fish in a small pond. Go for it to Glasgow, and then all of a sudden you think, oh no, it's going to be a bit big. Never.
I think
Stirling bands are better than Glasgow bands. That's it. You know what I mean?
You know, if I were to start again, I would play all the Stirling gigs and try and vary that with playing gigs in kind of bigger cities. I think the good thing with recording, I think I'd advise like anyone that was starting their own band to do it, because when you're recording there's the opportunity to add loads of extra bits, and that's kind of where your songs can kind of grow arms and legs and kind of have a lot more in-depth thought about what goes into the song.
The way it looks at the moment, that it's either going to be transition or the end. I don't want to end it, but something needs to change. So I would like us to be managed, because I'm sick of managing the band. Some form of promotion, because I'm sick of promoting the band. And I basically want to strike up a writing relationship with whoever's in the band as well, and it's quite hard to do that if you're constantly changing format. We just basically need to get a bit of focus, start playing better venues, and start saying no to people. But there's also the thing is, we're sitting, most of us mid-20s, most people start thinking, oh, career, family, job.
Speak for yourself.
I'm wearing a suit, but I'll be sacking about 3 months anyway. So, aye, Viva Encierro. That's all I can say.
Hi, I'm Alice from the Hazey Janes.
I'm also from the Hazey Janes. I'm called Andrew.
I don't know, Dundee's a really small place, and I think it's kind of natural that we all came together. We've got a lot of connections. I suppose the band kind of formed when Matthew and Andrew were at school together. Matthew's my brother, so that's where that bit comes in. And me and Liam have been in a couple of different bands before this one.
Just coming to the end of a tour at the moment, which it kind of took us into June. It's the end of May. We were promoting our single that came out on the 19th. So that took us all over the UK. But I mean, obviously, when we started gigging, we were in Dundee mostly, and then the kind of surrounding cities, Aberdeen and Edinburgh. Thankfully, we get further afield than that. We get to go to places like London and Manchester, Cardiff, Bath, and pretty places like that.
We've kind of basically been on tour since the Hotel Radio came out at the beginning of 2006. So yeah, it's been pretty hectic.
Kind of off and on since then. But like I say, the tour just now is for the single. The album comes out, I think it's the earliest it will be October, but it'll probably be a little later than that in the year. I think there might be a single first, but the New York is the single we're touring, and that's their kind of priority at the moment. In terms of the recording, that was done. The album was finished in August last year, roughly.
Yep.
Yeah. So we finished that. We recorded it over in New Jersey with a guy called John Agnello, who mixed our last record. He was just quite keen to work with us, and we were obviously delighted to work with him. He's done lots and lots of great records that we really admired, and it was pretty lucky to work with him, especially in the studio that we were working in Hoboken. Loads of great albums have come out there, and yeah, it was quite an experience.
Well, at the moment we're just kind of looking forward to the summer. We've got a lot of festivals to play, which is going to be a lot of fun. And then, yeah, just kind of planning, I suppose, the next tour for the single and the album and stuff.